Let's move on to our third main topic today. And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Edwin Perez, who writes, "Hey crew, love the show. Thank you so much, Edwin. I was wondering if you guys have seen that The Hollywood Reporter just broke that Canadian Beauty Ryan Reynolds is in talks to star and produce a live-action adaptation of the 80s video game Dragon's Lair. I would love if this actually happens. Thanks, and keep up the filthy." All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yes, Ryan Reynolds is kind of becoming a little bit like Guillermo del Toro, where it feels like every 2 months a new project that he's doing gets mentioned, and some of them fall by the wayside, but a lot of them come to fruition. Of course, he's got that Clue thing they keep seeing. He's doing a Clue reboot and all that kind of stuff. He's obviously got that video game one coming out that I can't remember the name of right now. It's not Nice Guy, it's Normal Guy, Regular Guy, whatever, where he's a character inside of a video game. That's coming. But now the reports are coming out that I believe it's for Netflix. He's going to be producing and starring in a Dragon's Lair incarnation. This is the report from The Hollywood Reporter. After almost a year of negotiations, Netflix has closed a deal to pick up the rights to the game. Roy Lee was also the producer behind the It movies. Roy Lee will produce via his Vertigo Entertainment, with Trevor Engelson of Underground Films, Don Bluth, Gary Goldman, and John Pomeroy are also producing. Reynolds will produce via his banner Maximum Effort. Dan and Kevin Hagman, who worked on the Lego Movie and most recently Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, will write the script. That comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. Rob, this was a game that I remember was so mind-blowing, because you got to remember at that time having visuals like that in a game were unheard of. I mean, it was it was more animation. You were controlling it. Now, you had very little control other than making left or right choices.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like fully interactive, but still was something that totally blew our minds, and everybody of our generation, we all knew Dragon's Lair. And the horror of seeing your body turn to bones and falling to the ground. This is an interesting project for Reynolds. Now, look, I'm going to tell you, I would like to see, we've seen Ryan do a lot of projects like this lately, whether it's a Pikachu and now he's doing Clue and something like this, where the fun, silly, kind of enjoyable sort of stuff. I would like to see him getting back a little bit more to doing a Definitely Maybe or a Buried, where I thought he deserved an Academy Award nomination for Buried, but whatever. A little heavier stuff just to let him really show off his acting chops. But I don't know. This is still intriguing. Rob, you hear about this announcement. What do you think about it?
Well, who didn't love, Dragon's Lair? And obviously they mentioned Don Bluth. When Don Bluth Studios, they did Secret of Nim. And when Don Bluth came on the scene, he was like seen as the new Disney or whatever. And this was one of the things that they did. They did the Dragon's Lair game. And I think, like you pointed out, it was amazing to see that kind of animation. I was a Laserdisc aficionado, and it was a Laserdisc based game. That's how come they were able to have that kind of animation. So you weren't seeing like video generated animation. It was literally film that was on a Laserdisc. So that's why the gameplay wasn't as, you're going left and right and all that. But I was a huge fan of it. I think that they could make a great movie. I think it'd be awesome if they did that. I think he would be really good in it. But like you said, I think, Ryan Reynolds is now he's just playing Ryan Reynolds in movies. And I think Ryan Reynolds actually does have some great acting chops. And I would like to see him get back and really start to stretch as an actor and do more serious, more dramatic roles. Because after 6 Underground, I was kind of like, man, I'd really like, and it looks like he's doing more. He's playing to those strengths, obviously, but I would like to see him. I'm getting bored of the Ryan Reynolds persona, and maybe he could bring more of an Indiana Jones quality, where he can actually, if they make this about this errant knight or whatever, that he could sort of descend into that world and create a character that uses his best qualities of humor, but also a character that just isn't breaking into that Ryan Reynolds persona. That's what I would hope.
You know what? There's an example. I while I'm saying I'd like to see him stretch out more and get more into heavier dramatic stuff because he's so good at it, it's not to suggest I'm getting tired of the persona, because you and I just recently saw a movie, and I just watched it again a couple of nights ago. Ann and I went back and watched Hobbs and Shaw the other night. And,
good man. Justice for Han. Justice for Han.
And in Hobbs and Shaw, Ryan Reynolds makes his appearance, which was totally surprising. And hell, his character in Hobbs and Shaw is the very personification of the Ryan Reynolds character right now.
Right.
But it was great. It was awesome. He was so funny in it, and it worked so well. And so I'm not saying I want to see him stop doing that. It's not like I don't want to see him be Deadpool again, or I don't want to.
Right.
I just like to see more mixed in with it, like vary it up a little bit, because I just think he's just too talented to just focus exclusively on this sort of persona. And, Pikachu was Ryan Reynolds in animated form, right? His Six Underground character was Ryan Reynolds in a little bit more of a serious thing. But, I mean, part of that might have just been the fact that Six Underground really wasn't very good. So it's going to be interesting to see. But this is a title I did not think we would hear getting a live-action adaptation. And it kind of sounds kind of neat. Or maybe they're going to go animated, but I've heard it's going to be live action. Guys, what do you think about this? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right.